Hey everyone, diving right in today. We're deep diving into some Dr. Joe Dispenza, specifically that whole idea of letting go and trusting in, well, something bigger. You know that feeling, right? Like there's a plan, even if we can't see all the pieces just yet.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big topic for a lot of people.
It really is. And today, we're here to break it down. So Dispenza, he starts with this concept of control, or rather, letting go of it. Does that resonate?
For sure. It's a common human experience, that pull toward control.
I know I can get caught up in needing things to go my way,
Oh, absolutely. Dispenza would argue that often comes from a place of fear, actually. Fear of the unknown, maybe things not going according to that plan you mentioned. But here's the thing, and this is what I find so fascinating. He suggests that this grip we have on control, it might be a very thing holding us back.
Okay, holding us back. I need an example because on the surface, control feels kind of essential, right?
Right. And it makes sense, that need for control. But think of it like this. Imagine you're a gardener. You meticulously plan every detail, obsess over each seed and sprout.
I can see it now, the rows of perfect tomatoes.
Exactly. That control might seem necessary, even essential, but then what happens when an unexpected storm hits? That rigid structure can't adapt, it breaks.
Dispenza argues that by releasing the need to micromanage every outcome, we become more like, say, a wildflower, able to bend with the wind and bloom even in unexpected places.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Holding on too tight can make us brittle. So are we just supposed to be passive then? Just go with the flow to the point of inaction?
Not quite. This isn't about becoming passive, but rather aligning ourselves with a greater power, a universal flow.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Dispenza calls it surrendering to a higher intelligence. It's like, imagine a sailboat at sea. If you're fighting against the wind, you're not going to get anywhere fast.
Yeah.
That's right. But hoist the sails, adjust to the wind's direction. That's how you navigate towards your goals, even if the precise route changes. So it's about working with that bigger energy, taking inspired action, even if we don't have the full roadmap.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this control thing plays out. But what about challenges? How does he fit that in?
And this ties directly into how Dispenza reframes challenges, right? We often see them as purely negative, but he flips that script entirely.
He does. He talks about how diamonds are formed under immense pressure and how those pressures, those challenges, they're often the catalyst for our most incredible growth. It's like we need that resistance to become stronger, more resilient versions of ourselves.
Precisely. He uses a powerful analogy, mountain climbing. The journey to the summit, grueling, full of obstacles, but it's what makes the view from the top so breathtaking.
So right.
Dispenza argues that if we can shift our perspective and see challenges as opportunities for growth, we can transform our entire experience.
Okay, so let's say we're on board with this whole challenges as opportunities thing. What about the fear that often comes with those challenges? The fear of the unknown, of things not going according to plan. That's a biggie for a lot of us.
Oh, absolutely. Fear of the unknown. It's primal. It's hardwired into us, you know?
It makes sense, right?
Dispenza acknowledges that. Our brains, they crave certainty. It's a survival mechanism. But here's the thing. By clinging so tightly to what's familiar, to what feels safe and certain, we might actually be missing out.
Missing out on what?
The most incredible opportunities for growth and expansion, you know?
So it's like we're so busy trying to control the future that we forget to even live in the present, to be open to those unexpected detours.
Yes. And those detours, they might just lead to something amazing.
Totally.
Dispenza would probably call those detours divine guidance, actually.
Oh, interesting.
He believes that we're all connected to this higher consciousness, a universal intelligence. And get this, that this intelligence is constantly communicating with us.
Okay, hold on. So how do we tap into that? I mean, how do we distinguish between our everyday thoughts and this divine guidance meditation? Is it about intuition? Give us the inside scoop.
Well, Dispenza talks about cultivating the state of coherence. And coherence is where the heart and mind, they're working in sync.
Okay, I like it.
It's like tuning into a specific radio frequency. The clearer the signal, the easier it is to get the message.
Makes sense.
And he suggests practices like meditation, mindfulness, even just spending time in nature. These can help quiet the mental chatter and help us tune into that deeper wisdom.
So it's about creating that inner space, that stillness, where we can actually hear that guidance. Because I think we've all had those aha moments, those flashes of insight that seem to come out of nowhere but feel so right.
Exactly. Dispenza would say those are prime examples of intuition, the language of the soul. He encourages us to really pay attention to those nudges, those gut feelings, even if they don't initially make logical sense.
It's funny. I was reading one of Dispenza's books, and he talked about this woman. She had this strong intuitive feeling to quit her job and start her own business.
Wow.
Logically, it made zero sense. She had a stable income, a family to support, but she trusted that inner guidance, took the leap, and you know what? She ended up creating something so much more fulfilling and successful than she could have ever imagined.
It's such a good example of how trusting that inner wisdom, that divine guidance, it can lead us to these incredible places, even if the path seems unconventional or maybe even a little bit scary.
Totally.
And Dispenza stresses that this guidance might not always show up on our timeline,
Yeah.
or in the way that we expect.
So patience is key, and trusting that even if we don't see the entire picture, even if things get a little messy or uncomfortable, there's a bigger plan unfolding. Which brings us to, I think, another big one. Surrendering the outcome. That's a tough concept for a lot of us, myself included. We have goals, we have desires, and the idea of just letting go, letting, God, so to speak, it can feel pretty daunting.
It absolutely can. And Dispenza acknowledges that. It's a process. It's a practice that requires conscious effort. But he emphasizes that surrendering the outcome doesn't mean you're giving up on your goals or you just become passive.
So it's not about apathy then. It's more about accepting that we don't have all the answers, that there might be a different path, maybe a better outcome that we can currently even envision.
Yes, precisely. It's about recognizing that our limited perspective might be obscuring a much grander plan at play.
Yeah.
Dispenza often talks about how we tend to get attached to a very specific outcome, a particular version of how we think things should be, right?
Yeah.
And that very attachment creates resistance, even suffering.
I can see that, yeah. We get so fixated on that one desired outcome that we block ourselves from seeing other possibilities, other paths that might be even more aligned with our purpose even.
Exactly. And that's where this beauty of surrender comes in. By detaching from needing to control the outcome, by trusting that whatever unfolds is for our highest good, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities.
Oh, yeah.
We free ourselves from that self-imposed pressure, and we allow ourselves to experience the joy of the journey itself, regardless of the destination.
So we do our part. We take inspired action. We listen to that inner guidance.
Yeah.
But then we release the need to control every single detail, trusting that there's a bigger force kind of orchestrating the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between effort and surrender, action and allowance. And, this ties back to what we were discussing earlier about discomfort.
Oh, how so?
Because often the most profound growth, the most incredible transformation happens in those moments when we're feeling the most stretched, the most challenged.
Okay, so let's talk about discomfort. It's not exactly a word we typically associate with positive transformation. In fact, I think most of us spend a lot of energy trying to avoid discomfort. So how does Dispenza reframe discomfort in a way that makes it, less uncomfortable?
It's true. We tend to think of discomfort as something to avoid, something negative. But Dispenza has this fascinating perspective. He sees discomfort as, get this, a signpost for growth.
A signpost for growth. Okay, I've never thought of it like that.
Think about it. When we push past those comfort zones, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, that's when we create space to expand.
It's like when you're lifting weights. If you're not feeling that burn, that little bit of discomfort, you're probably not challenging yourself enough to see any real growth.
Exactly. That's a great analogy. Dispenza would say those moments of discomfort, those challenges, those times when we feel stretched thin, those are the moments when we're actually breaking down the old patterns, the limiting beliefs. And we're creating the space for something new.
So instead of resisting discomfort, we can choose to see it as a signal that we're on the right track, that we're actually in the process of becoming, more aligned with ourselves.
Exactly. It's a powerful shift. Now, it doesn't mean we should go out seeking pain or suffering or anything.
Right.
But it does mean that when those challenges come up, which they inevitably do, we can choose to meet them with curiosity instead of fear.
So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We can ask, what is this here to teach me? What can I learn from this experience?
That's it. And Dispenza would argue that within that discomfort, within that perceived breakdown, that's where the seed of our greatest breakthroughs lie.
Oh, wow.
He tells this story about a man who was facing a bunch of major setbacks all at once. Job loss, financial struggles, relationship issues. Tough stuff.
Oh, man.
The guy was devastated, understandably, feeling lost, defeated, but Dispenza encouraged him to see these challenges as opportunities, to rebuild his life from the ground up, but this time aligned with his deepest values, And that's exactly what he did.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It really highlights how our greatest challenges, they can lead to our most profound transformations if we're willing to embrace the discomfort and do the work.
Absolutely, and that's the core message here. Trusting the process, it's about understanding that life is a journey, it's not a destination. And on that journey, there are going to be ups and downs, moments of ease, moments of discomfort. But it's in those moments of discomfort, when we feel most challenged, that we have the greatest opportunity for growth and expansion.
It's about surrendering control, embracing the uncertainty, and having faith that even when we can't see the whole picture, there's a higher intelligence guiding us, supporting us, leading us towards our highest good.
And just maybe that discomfort you're feeling right now, that challenge you're facing, it's actually a sign that you're about to experience a breakthrough, an expansion, a level of growth you never even thought possible.
Now, that is definitely something to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Dr. J. Dispenza. We hope you found it insightful, empowering, maybe even a little challenging in the best way possible. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. Trust the process, embrace the discomfort, and see what incredible transformations unfold.